It's September 19th, 2015. Brighton, England. South Africa leads Japan by 3 points in a Rugby World Cup match that has defied every expectation. Japan had the opportunity to kick for poles. This would have leveled the game at 32-32 and would be considered one of the greatest days in Japanese rugby history, but they chose to go for the victory. So with the ball in hand, they are now pressing for the try that could rewrite rugby history. But to understand how we arrived at this moment, we need to go back to the histories of two very different rugby nations. Let's rewind. Rugby has always been more than a game in South Africa. It arrived in the late 19th century, brought by British colonists, and quickly became the sport of the Afrikaner population. By the early 20th century, South Africa had emerged as a rugby powerhouse, earning the nickname that is feared in locker rooms across the globe, the Springboks. But rugby in South Africa has also carried deep historical significance. During apartheid, it became a symbol of white Afrikaner identity, while black South Africans were excluded from the sport's mainstream. After the end of apartheid in 1994, rugby transformed into a tool for reconciliation. Nelson Mandela's iconic embrace of the Springboks during their 1995 Rugby World Cup victory symbolized unity in a fractured nation. Stronger together are the two words that ring true for every South African today. In Japan, rugby took a very different path. Introduced in 1899 by British professor Edward Bramwell Clark, rugby remained a niche sport, played primarily at schools and universities. Over time, Japan developed a passionate but small rugby culture, epitomized by their national team, the Brave Blossoms. Despite their enthusiasm, Japan has struggled on the world stage. Before 2015, they had participated in every Rugby World Cup but won just one match against Zimbabwe in 1991. The Brave Blossoms were seen as underdogs, a team with heart but little hope against the all-conquering Springboks. Which brings us to today. At the heart of Japan's transformation is Eddie Jones, their head coach, an Australian with Japanese heritage who contributed a vital part to South Africa lifting the World Cup in 2007. Jones is now determined to change the world's perception of Japanese rugby. Known for his meticulous preparation and bold tactics, he spent years analyzing South Africa's strengths and weaknesses. He believes that Japan can win, not by matching the Springboks physically, but by outsmarting them. The South African team that they are up against is formidable, with 7 previous World Cup winners. And if we take a closer look at the younger players on this team, there is Pieter Steph du Toit, who will go on to become Rugby World Player of the Year in 2019. Eben Etzebeth will become the most capped Springbok player of all time, and Siya Kolisi will become South Africa's greatest captain by lifting the Rugby World Cup twice, in 2019 and 2023. Not to mention Victor Matfield, the towering lock, dominating the lineouts. Schalk Burger, one of the most powerful number 8s in the world, was relentless with ball in hand, and Patrick Lambie, their young fly-half, controlled the game with his kicking and vision. Coaching the Springboks was Heineke Meyer, a man under immense pressure. South Africa was expected to not just win but dominate this match. For Meyer, anything less than victory would be a national embarrassment. On paper, this game is a mismatch. The mighty Springboks of South Africa, 2-time Rugby World Cup champions, versus the Brave Blossoms of Japan, a team that had won just one match in World Cup history. For most, the result seems inevitable. The Brave Blossoms start with a spark. Eddie Jones' men are fearless, moving the ball quickly, testing the Springbok defense. And in the 8th minute, their courage is rewarded. Ayumu Goromaru, their unflappable fullback, steps up to take a penalty. The ball sails through the uprights and Japan takes an early lead. It's 3-0, 3 points. Just 3 small points, but against a team like South Africa, it feels monumental. The underdog has struck first. The Springboks, unfazed, play to their strengths. Their forwards are relentless, driving into the heart of the Japanese defense. In the 18th minute, they execute a textbook maul from a lineout. Francois Lowe peels off the back and crashes over the line. South Africa has their reply.
In the end, the ruthless efficiency of this green and gold machine is told.
Patrick Lambie adds the conversion, and the Springboks take the lead, 7-3.
Lambie on being from the start.
But Japan doesn't back down. Their response is swift and stunning. In the 30th minute, they kick the ball out to set up a rolling maul after Bismarck du Plessis was penalized for a miscalculation. In goes the ball, rolling goes the maul.
Here's the drive. The South Africans knew what was coming. Look there at Tatsukawa, the centre, putting his shoulder to it. Every available body is there for Japan. It's a tested muscle, and this time
Over goes Michael Leach. It's rugby at its most beautiful, fluid, ferocious, fearless. Goromaru's conversion is good, and Japan leads 10-7.
the upright as it goes through. Well, they'll be kissing the ball if they can get through 80 minutes, and the scores are something like this.
The Springboks, the giants of world rugby, are on their heels. South Africa leans on their power game once more. In the 33rd minute, they maul their way to the line again.
That is at half-time. Worrying period here for the Boks. But du Plessis has it. And the Bismarck variety driving on here. Bismarck du Plessis up and over the line.
This time, it's Bismarck du Plessis who emerges with the ball. Another Springbok try. Lambie misses the conversion, but at halftime, South Africa leads 12-10. Japan trails, but the world is beginning to believe this is no ordinary match. Japan resumes their attack with renewed intensity. Every Springbok error is punished. In the 43rd minute, Goromaru kicks a penalty to bring the Brave Blossoms level. Japan leads 13-12. The unthinkable is happening. But South Africa is not easily shaken. Lud de Jager, a towering presence in the Springbok pack, seizes the moment in the 44th minute. Breaking through tackles, he powers over the line for another Springbok try.
They've got the try. Lud de Jager.
Lambie's conversion makes it 19-13. The Springboks breathe a sigh of relief, but only briefly. With every tackle, every ruck, Japan's belief grows stronger. Goromaru's penalties in the 49th and 53rd minutes keep them within touching distance. The game is tied again, 19-19. This isn't just a contest anymore. It's a fight for history. In the 56th minute, South Africa are rewarded with a penalty which Lambie slots without second, though. 22-19 to the Springboks. It's game on. In the stands, the South African coach is visibly looking stressed, as the possibilities may be beginning to dawn on him. Japan keep marching on, asking difficult questions of South Africa's defense, and are duly rewarded with a penalty, which is promptly converted into points by Goromaru. The game is now level at 22-22. In the 62nd minute, Adrian Strauss powers over for South Africa.
First game of rugby since February. Robert Strauss bursting through.
And Pollard's conversion gives them a 7-point lead. 29-22 Springboks. In the weeks building up to this game, Japan have said time and again that they are here to win, and that they'll do that by outsmarting the Boks. And they live up to this with a superb move from the line out that Goromaru finishes off.
Shima goes through to Goromaru. What a gloriously worked try.
Superb. Absolutely superb.
He stands up and converts his own try. The score is now 29-29. It's worth pointing out that if the game ended right here, this would have been the greatest game of rugby that Japan had ever played. But as they have said, they are here to win. A penalty from Pollard in the 73rd minute stretches it to 32-29. The Springboks just never seem to have the match in hand, and the worry is visible on all the players' faces because Japan still believes. As the clock ticks down, Japan is still in the fight. The Brave Blossoms have shocked South Africa with their speed, discipline, and creativity. Ayumu Goromaru's try kept the dream alive. Now, with the score at 32-29, Kuni Oosthuizen, the South African prop, has just been penalized for not rolling away after a 19-phase assault on the South African defense line. And with just seconds remaining, Japan refuses to settle for a draw. They are here for the win. The Springboks throw everything into their defense, bodies on the line, desperate to hold out. But Japan can smell glory, and they are unrelenting. 3 minutes remain. South Africa leads 32-29, but now they're down to 14 men. Japan has a penalty, and the straightforward option is to kick for the posts, level the scores, and secure a famous draw. But a draw isn't enough for Eddie Jones and his brave Blossoms. They're here for the win. Jones signals to kick for the corner. Japan sets up for the line-out, and Jones makes a surprising substitution. Off comes Akihito Yamada, one of Japan's best attacking threats, and onto the field comes Karne Hesketh, an unassuming winger who will soon become a national hero. Japan throws into the line-out, securing the ball cleanly. The driving maul begins, surging forward with the weight of a nation behind it. But just as they near the try line, Siya Kolisi drives into the heart of the maul, his arms wrapped tightly around the ball. Kolisi holds firm. The referee, uncertain, raises his arm and refers it upstairs. The stadium falls silent, every fan holding their breath. Time seems to stand still. The third official reviews the footage again and again. The verdict comes back. There's no conclusive evidence.
Can you, I want?
Jerome gave one.
Yeah. So did you see the...
No, there is nothing clear at all. It's going to be a scrum 5 red ball.
The maul is held up. Japan is awarded a scrum just 5 meters from glory. 13 seconds remain. 5 meters from the Springbok try line, the brave Blossoms face a choice. Kick for the draw or push for immortality. They choose the latter. Once again, they signal to scrum. The crowd, already on their feet, reaches a deafening roar. This is it. The scrum is unstable, but it'll do. The Springboks are under pressure. The referee's arm shoots into the air. Penalty to Japan. Another chance to tie the game. But Leach looks to his teammates and signals. They will not settle for less than a win. Once more the scrum sets. The clock has gone red. This is their final chance.
Brighton has become the centre of the rugby world. That's the wonder of the World Cup.
Japan wins the ball and the attack begins. They spread it, going through the phases, stretching the Springbok defense. Each carry, each pass brings them closer. The ball heads towards the right-hand touchline, but still they cannot break through.
They're 6 meters away. He wants her again. Japan cannot afford an error.
Creel is screaming in the centre there for South Africa, for defenders that come around that corner.
They got numbers out wide.
Michael Leach, the fearless Japanese captain, carries the hopes of his team, his nation, and rugby itself. He crashes into the defense, but the ball is recycled quickly. We've arrived. Welcome to this moment in history.
The try. Tatakawa. Murphy! Here we go! Hesketh!
Thanks for joining me on this journey through the Brighton miracle. If you found this story inspiring, just wait until you hear about the kick that united a nation. Dive into the incredible story of South Africa's triumphant 1995 Rugby World Cup victory and the iconic moment that brought a nation together. Click here to watch, and don't forget to subscribe for more unforgettable rugby moments. See you in the next video.